What life was like for a male concubine in ancient Greece. Sleepy history story. Night settles gently over the city of Athens. It is a quiet hour in the 4th century before the Common Era. Stone walls still hold the warmth of the sun, now fading. This telling is meant to slow the breath, to soften the thoughts, and to guide the listener calmly toward sleep. There is no urgency here. No sudden turn of fate. Only the quiet presence of ordinary lives, moving at the pace they have always known. Athens rests beneath a darkening sky. The Acropolis rises above the houses, its pale stone faintly visible in the low light. Below, the city grows still. The streets are narrow, some paved with worn stone blocks, others hardened earth, all shaped by years of passing feet. Oil lamps hang near doorways, their flames small and steady, casting soft circles of light, leaving much of the street in shadow. A light mist drifts in from the low ground, carrying the smell of earth, of smoke from hearths, of the nearby sea. Houses stand close together, built of stone, mud brick, and timber. Plain walls facing the street. Life turned inward, toward courtyards. Most homes are modest in size. Rooms gathered around an open space. A courtyard where light and air enter. Where daily tasks are done. The floors are hard-packed earth or stone. Walls are bare. Furniture is simple. Nothing here is meant for display. Within one such house lives a young man. Not born to freedom. Not destined for the fields, but bound to the household in another way. He is known as a dependent, a concubine within the home, attached to the master's household, neither fully free nor openly enslaved. His position is understood, rarely discussed, accepted by custom. As many things are in this city. He sleeps on a simple mat. Rolled wool beneath him. A thin blanket drawn close. Near the warmth of the hearth. The hearth itself is small. A shallow stone place. Where wood and charcoal burn. Carefully tended. There is no great fire. Fuel is precious. The warmth is shared. And never wasted. Before dawn, he wakes. The house still quiet. Only faint sounds of breathing. Of embers settling. His feet touch the cool floor. Stone chilled by night air. He moves slowly. Careful not to wake others. One of his first tasks is water. Always water. Carried from a public fountain. A jar balanced carefully. Outside, the street is dim. Lamps still burning. Shadows long. The city half asleep. Other figures move quietly. Women wrapped in cloaks. Servants from nearby houses. All drawn by the same need. The fountain house echoes softly. Water splashes into clay jars. Voices remain low. No one lingers. Returning home, he sets the jar down. Near the hearth. A task completed. One of many to come. Morning food is prepared simply. Barley grain. Water. A small pot placed over the fire. Charcoal is stirred. A few sticks added. The flame grows slowly. Never rushed. The porridge thickens as it warms. Stirred with a wooden spoon. Watched closely. Burning would mean loss. Bread is brought out. Dark and coarse. Baked days earlier. Broken by hand. Olives may be added. If the household has them. Or a bit of cheese. Eaten sparingly. He eats after others. Or to the side. Depending on the custom of the house. Always quietly. His clothing is plain. A short linen chiton. Worn thin with use. Patched at the seams. A cloak hangs nearby. For cooler mornings. Heavy with age. Smelling faintly of smoke. Sandals protect his feet. Leather stiff and cracked. Straps repaired many times. Still serviceable. As the household wakes fully. The courtyard fills with motion. Sweeping. Sorting tools. Preparing lamps. Children appear. Rubbing sleep from their eyes. Given small tasks. Fetching items. Holding tools. They are taught early to help. Learning by watching. By repeating. By doing. Some children attend lessons. A teacher hired by the family. Or a nearby school. Learning letters and numbers. Others learn trades. Following fathers to workshops. Observing hands at work. Imitating movements. The young man moves among them. Never central. Never absent. A constant presence. He may be asked to read aloud. If he has been taught. Lines of poetry. Passages from plays. His voice remains calm. Measured. Never drawing attention. The words more important than the speaker. As the sun rises higher. Light fills the courtyard. Shadows shorten. The city grows louder. From the street come new sounds. Hoofs striking stone. Wheels creaking. Vendors calling softly. Small carts move through the lanes. Pulled by donkeys. Carrying jars of oil. Baskets of vegetables. Athens is awake now. The agora filling with people. Merchants arranging goods. Farmers arriving from nearby fields. If sent out, the young man follows. Carrying items. Holding space. Remaining silent unless spoken to. The streets are crowded. Narrow paths shared by many. Dust rising with each step. The smell of animals and food mixing. Market stalls line the open space. Fish laid on wooden boards. Still glistening. Vegetables piled in woven baskets. Bread sellers stand nearby. Loaves stacked carefully. Marked by size and quality. Coins exchanged slowly. Money is scarce for most. Spent with care. Arguments brief. Everyone knows the value of each piece. Children run errands. Quick and barefoot. Learning the paths. Learning the weight of responsibility. Those born to citizens attend lessons. Sitting on low stools. Listening to recitation. Repeating words again and again. The young man watches from a distance. His place already decided. His learning complete or limited. Depending on the household's wishes. At midday, the heat settles. Movement slows. Shadows deepen again. People seek shade. Food is eaten simply. Bread. Olives. A bit of cheese. Shared among those present. Wine is mixed with water. Never taken strong at this hour. Drunk slowly. To ease thirst. Back at the house. The afternoon passes quietly. Work continues indoors. Spinning wool. Mending clothing. The young man assists where needed. Holding skeins. Sorting fibers. Cleaning tools. The hearth is kept low. Enough for warmth. Enough to heat water. Not enough to waste fuel. As the sun lowers. Preparations begin again. Oil lamps filled. Wicks trimmed. Evening cooking starts early. A stew of lentils or beans. Onions added. Herbs crushed between fingers. The pot simmers slowly. Steam rising. The smell filling the courtyard. Familiar and steady. Meat is rare. Perhaps a small piece. Shared among many. Boiled to soften it. Food is served in common bowls. Wooden or clay. Passed hand to hand. No plates for each person. The young man eats when allowed. After others. Or apart. Always observing custom. As darkness falls. The city quiets again. Lamps glow through doorways. Shadows return to the streets. Men of the household may recline. Talking softly. Of politics. Of philosophy. Of city matters. Guests sometimes arrive. A small gathering. Wine poured more freely now. Music requested. If music is played. It is simple. A lyre strummed gently. A tune known by heart. The young man may serve. Pouring wine. Clearing bowls. Standing nearby. His presence is expected. Neither questioned nor praised. Simply part of the evening's order. As the night deepens. Voices grow quieter. Fatigue settles in. Guests depart one by one. Lamps are extinguished. Leaving only faint light from the hearth. The courtyard dark beneath the stars. Sleeping places are prepared. Mats unrolled. Cloaks folded for warmth. The fire banked carefully. The young man lies down. listening to the sounds of the house. The distant call of a night watch. The soft breathing of others. His life follows a steady rhythm. Defined by duty. By proximity. By custom. Days pass much the same. Marked by light and shadow. By meals and tasks. By the turning of the sun. He belongs to the household. Not to the city. Not to himself. This is understood without words. Yet within this life, there is routine. Shelter. Food enough to endure. Athens sleeps. Stone and earth cooling. Oil lamps fading across the city. The Acropolis silent above all. The night stretches on. Breathing slows. Thoughts soften. The ancient city rests. And as the hours pass quietly, so too does this life continue. Unrecorded. Uncelebrated. But real. The telling slows now. Like footsteps fading on stone. Like embers beneath ash. Carrying the mind gently onward. Into sleep. Daylight within the household. Morning light moves slowly across the rooftops of Athens. Not bright at first. Only a pale glow touching stone and clay. The city wakes without sound or signal. Within the narrow streets, doors open a little. Then close again. People step out quietly. Wrapped in simple cloaks against the cool air. The young man rises once more with the household. His sleep has been light. As it often is. Rest taken in short, careful stretches. He folds his blanket. Sets it aside neatly. Nothing here is his to neglect. Order matters in small spaces. The hearth is cold now. Only ash remains. Gray and soft. He kneels and clears it carefully. Charcoal is brought out. Saved from the day before. Placed with care. A small flame coaxed into life. There is no rush. Fire responds only to patience. Too much air scatters embers. Too little leaves only smoke. As the fire grows steady, he prepares water again. Pouring it into a clay vessel. Setting it near the heat. Others move around him. A woman grinding grain. A child sweeping dust from the floor. The house begins its slow rhythm. Cooking is simple. Always the same. Barley. Water. Occasionally figs or lentils. The pot is placed low. So the heat remains gentle. The contents stirred slowly. Never left alone. This porridge will last the morning. Perhaps into midday. Food here stretches across hours. Measured by need, not desire. Bread is broken. Crusts saved. Crumbs gathered. Nothing wasted. The young man eats little. Enough to work. Enough to remain steady. His hunger kept quiet. After the meal. Tasks are assigned without words. A glance. A gesture. Habit replaces instruction. He cleans the courtyard, sweeping dust into a corner, carrying it out to the street, adding it to the city's shared refuse. Outside, the street is fully awake. Footsteps echo between walls. Voices carry briefly, then fade. The stones are worn smooth, shaped by centuries of use. Cold underfoot in the morning, warming slowly as the sun rises. Shops open their shutters. Small spaces facing the street. A potter arranging wares. A cobbler setting out tools. Work begins early. Because daylight is precious. Because lamps consume oil. And oil costs money. The young man may be sent to assist. Holding goods. Running messages. Standing nearby. He watches trades practiced with care. Hands moving from memory. Leather cut. Clay shaped. Wood smoothed. Each trade has its sounds. The tap of tools. The scrape of stone. The low murmur of conversation. In the agora, the crowd thickens. Farmers arrive from the outskirts, bringing vegetables, bundles of greens, jars of oil. Animals move slowly through the press. Donkeys laden with baskets, guided by steady hands, used to narrow paths. Small wagons creak under weight. Wheels turning slowly. Drivers calling warnings. People stepping aside. The young man keeps close. Avoiding notice. Avoiding conflict. His role is to observe and assist. Coins pass from hand to hand. Bronze and silver. Counted carefully. Each one valued. Fish sellers shout briefly. Then fall silent. Their voices roughened by salt air. Their goods fresh but fleeting. Children weave through the crowd. Carrying baskets. Delivering messages. Learning the shape of the city. Some attend lessons nearby. A teacher seated beneath a shaded roof. Children repeating letters. Their voices rising and falling together. Education is uneven. Dependent on birth and means. Some learn much. Others little. The young man listens when he can. Remembering sounds. Phrases. Words he may never use freely. As the sun reaches its height. The heat settles. Movement slows. People seek shade where they can. Midday food is light. Bread again. Olives. A sip of watered wine. Meals are never long. Work resumes quickly. The day must be used. Before light begins to fade. Back at the house. The courtyard is quiet. Shadows stretch across the floor. The air warm and still. The young man sits briefly. Only when permitted. Resting hands. Listening to the hum of the city beyond the walls. Soon, there is more to do. Cloth to be shaken. Tools to be cleaned. Lamps to be checked for evening. Oil is precious. Measured drop by drop. Stored in small jars. Guarded carefully. As afternoon passes, the light softens. Sounds outside change. Work winds down. Women return from wells. Children from errands. Men from workshops. The household gathers again. Evening cooking begins. Much like the morning. But slower now. The day's heat easing into coolness. Lentils or beans are soaked. Water added. Onions sliced. The pot returns to the fire. The smell is familiar. Comforting. A sign that the day is nearing its end. Food is shared quietly. Conversation low. Fatigue present in every movement. No one lingers over the meal. After eating, the young man clears bowls. Scrapes remains back into the pot. Water added for tomorrow. Nothing ends completely here. Everything continues. From one day to the next. Without clear edges. As night approaches, oil lamps are lit. Small flames trembling. Casting soft light on walls. The streets darken again. Mist rising from low ground. The city narrowing into shadow. Familiar and enclosed. From within the house. Voices murmur softly. Stories told quietly. Thoughts shared without urgency. The young man listens. Sitting nearby. Present but unnoticed. His role unchanged. When the lamps are extinguished. And the hearth is banked. Silence settles. Heavy but calm. He returns to his mat. Lies down carefully. The stone floor cool beneath him. The night air still. Outside, a watchman calls the hour. His voice slow and steady. Echoing briefly. Then gone. Athens sleeps once more. Houses breathing softly. Streets empty. The Acropolis watching in silence. The day has passed. Much like the one before. And the one to come. Life moving in a quiet circle. The telling slows again. Like the city itself. Breath easing. Thoughts loosening. And gently. Very gently. The night carries everything onward. Evening and the quiet of the house. Evening settles slowly over Athens. The sun has long since lowered behind distant hills. The city feels cooler now. Shadows stretch across walls and narrow lanes. A quiet stillness pervades the streets. The young man moves carefully through the household. Each step measured. Each action deliberate. The duties of the day are not yet complete. But the rhythm is gentler than earlier hours. Hearths are stirred. Charcoal glowing faintly. Wood added sparingly. Smoke rising in thin wisps. The scent mingling with the evening air. Cooking resumes. Not hurried. Not noisy. Only the soft clatter of a wooden spoon against a clay pot. The slow bubbling of a lentil stew over steady heat. Bread is brought from storage. Coarse and dense. Broken carefully. Passed from hand to hand. No portion is wasted. Olives, if they remain, are shared quietly. A small bit of cheese may accompany them. Water in clay cups. Perhaps wine diluted, measured carefully. The household eats together, close to the hearth. The young man takes his place where custom allows. Sitting quietly. Eating sparingly. Observing movements. Learning without speaking. Around him, the household breathes in unison. Children leaning against walls. Women tending small tasks. Men seated, conversing in low tones. The rhythm of ordinary life continuing unbroken. Tasks continue slowly. Utensils cleaned. Cloths folded. Tools repaired. Each action deliberate. Each action necessary. Oil lamps are trimmed. Small flames flickering softly. Providing light enough. Shadows dancing quietly along walls. The room alive but calm. The young man may be asked to fetch water. Or carry a small item. Always quietly. Always steadily. Never without attention to detail. Sometimes music is requested. A simple tune on a lyre. Played softly. Notes floating in the warm air. Adding to the gentle rhythm of evening. Children settle near adults. Learning gestures. Learning speech. Learning patience. Life teaching itself quietly. The courtyard outside grows darker. Night air cool against stone. Dust settling once more. The smell of herbs and smoke blending gently. The street is quiet. Footsteps echo only occasionally. A distant voice calls. Or a cart moves slowly. All sounds softened by distance and time of day. Inside, the household prepares for sleep. Mats unrolled. Blankets laid carefully. Embers banked in the hearth to last the night. The young man rolls his mat near the wall. He adjusts the thin blanket. Listening to the household's final movements. The low murmur of conversation. The shifting of limbs as people prepare to rest. He is aware of every sound. The soft scrape of sandals. The faint splash of water. The murmur of the street beyond. The life of the city continuing even in quiet hours. As darkness deepens, lamps are extinguished. Only faint embers remain. The house breathes in silence. Every movement softened. Every thought slowing. The young man lies down. The floor hard beneath him. The blanket thin but familiar. He feels the warmth of the last embers. And the gentle night air through open windows. Outside, Athens sleeps. The city's stones cooling. The narrow streets empty. The harbor distant, calm, and dark. Life within the household is steady. Predictable. Measured by routine. By light and shadow. By the small duties that shape each day. The young man drifts into quiet thought. Thinking of nothing in particular. Letting each sound settle. Each motion fade. Each breath slow. Time passes unhurried. Hours marked only by the movement of shadows. By the occasional call of a night watchman. By the faint stirring of animals. The ordinary life of the city continuing quietly. He dreams lightly. Not with stories. But with memory. Of the day's routine. Of small tasks completed. Of small duties fulfilled. The hearth finally dies down. Smoke curling faintly before fading. Warmth remaining just enough. The house holding its quiet. The city holding its calm. And the young man sleeps. Knowing the routine will begin again. As it always does. The city waking. The streets filling. The hearths stoked. The ordinary life of Athens moving gently onward. The night stretches long. Thoughts soften. Breath slows. Every sound blends into a steady rhythm. Carrying the mind into deep, untroubled rest. The city rests. The household rests. And the life of a young male concubine continues quietly. Measured by duty. Shaped by routine. Yet present. Real. Calm. As darkness passes. Time becomes gentle. Measured only by the slow turn of night into morning. And the quiet assurance that life continues. Softly, steadily, endlessly.